something broke last night also while we were on our live or throughout the day yesterday, that music mogul, Sean P. Diddy Puffy, he has a lot of different names, Combs, has had 3 of his homes raided in some sort of connection with a sex trafficking case. Now, there's going to be a lot of words that I'm going to be using in today's podcast that are probably going to go against some of the guidelines from YouTube. And so this thing is probably going to get limited as far as its viewership. So if you guys will do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button, ring that notification bell, share this so that way it gets to everybody. But without further ado, let's break it down. Let's get into it. So according to reports, federal agents have raided multiple homes owned by American music producer and label owner Sean Diddy Combs. Mansions in Los Angeles, Miami, and New York were stormed by heavily armed agents with the US Department of Homeland Security, DHS, on March 25th, according to SCNR. Homeland Security investigations confirmed the raids to TMZ and said that the agency executed law enforcement actions as part of an ongoing investigation. The assistance with HSI Los Angeles, HSI Miami, and our local law enforcement partners. We will provide further information as it becomes available, said in a quote from TMZ. So first and foremost, my thoughts were, whoa. I know that he had been having some weird, allegations placed up against him. There were some lawsuits that were going on, some that were accusing him of a forcible rape, sex trafficking, things of that nature, drugging, and not just females. It was male and females that he was apparently targeting, according to the lawsuits that have been filed. And we'll go through some of those lawsuits as well. But when it comes to Sean Combs, rumors about Sean has been, they've been going on for a while, right? I mean, everything from, was he had anything to do with the Tupac murders to there was a shootout involving, I think J-Lo was there. One of his rappers ended up going to jail. His name escapes me, but he sounded a lot like Biggie. Shine. There we go. He ended up going to jail on gun possession charges. And I think that there was some sort of rumors to that and allegations that that's not necessarily how it went. When Mace left Bad Boy, which is the record label that Sean Combs owns, there was some bad blood there. And rumors started to speculate, referencing, Sean Combs doing some things to keep people under his fingernails, so to speak. And, these are things that are being compared to now, like with what some of the stuff that Epstein was doing. Back then, the rumors that I had heard or that were speculating were things like that. He had some of his artists photographed in some compromising situations, and that's how he kept them under his fingernails, so to speak. And there's been, over the years, a lot of people that have come forward with little bits of information. Cat Williams here recently spoke about Puff Daddy and wanting to party, and you have to tell him no, because if not, and he spoke about how he kind of alluded to some of the activity that Puff Daddy was doing. You have 50 Cent coming out here recently, kind of putting him down. And like I said, there's just been a lot of rumors that have gone down. Let me pull up some footage from the raid itself. Here is some flyover footage of one of Sean P. Diddy's homes. Apparently his sons were detained and were put in handcuffs outside. Here's one of the situations right here where they're going in. This is making entry. Look at that. Check this out. Comedian Cat Williams came out telling the underbelly of the music industry, and he got blacklisted. Okay, I agree with you. There's a lot of things that he's been saying and things that have been coming out. And it's not just him. Bomb First, they're the YouTube channel that is ran by, or the main person that speaks on that channel is Reggie Wright Jr. Not to be confused with Reggie White Jr., the former defensive end, the Green Bay Packers Hall of Famer. This Reggie Wright Jr. or Reggie White Jr. I'm sorry. He was right. He was former bodyguard at Death Row Records. He protected the likes of Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur. Well, he's been coming out here recently talking a lot, and he's brought up over the last couple of, maybe since December, so the last few months, that Sean Combs was going to get raided, that there was a lot of stuff that was coming out. And that was also around the time that the allegations started to spread with the lawsuit of Cassidy, former singer, under his label. And we'll get into what her, allegations are. And then there was, some other allegations that came out about Sean Combs and rape, going back to 1991. So a few, several decades ago. But one recently, a producer came forward and gave his, allegations in his lawsuit as well. And this one is as early as 2022, 2023, or as late as 22, 2023. So pretty recent stuff. And I have a video of a neighbor who's, came forward and started talking, and he says some pretty interesting things. But these are, I believe, Sean Combs's sons being escorted out of their father's mansion. You have several individuals sitting on the floor being patted down by police and ID'd by law enforcement. Wayne says, did he or didn't he? That is the question. I like that one. Crazy thing about this is, 3 of his mansions get raided at one time, right? But he's not there. He's not there. He's on a plane, or he's in Miami. There's been some conflicting reports out there about what was going on. Apparently, one of Sean Combs's private planes during the raid was on a one-way trip to an island, south of Florida, and apparently he wasn't on it. They saw that he was spotted at a Miami airport yesterday, pacing back and forth. The Stroop office says Diddy used his phone and his son's kidnapped a girl and drugged and raped her on video. Yeah, that's one of the many allegations that are out there. He was tipped off. I think there's a good chance that may have been the situation. So this is them conducting their raid as well. Jeremiah says there were 2 turkey guys being interviewed that talked about dropping stuff in women's drinks back in the day like it was nothing. For real. Yeah, and Reggie also kind of said that in his Bomb First show today. I think it was today. He spoke on, Jay-Z also being possibly, he's kind of alluding that Jay-Z may have had some sort of relationship with Aaliyah, who's also having a relationship with R. Kelly while she was underage. And he provided a picture of Jay-Z with Aaliyah and then also with Foxy Brown, who apparently at the time when the photo was taken was also underage. It's pretty insane, to be honest with you. Daniel, I did ask my friend if I could mention the NDA, and she said it was fine. It was a long time ago. Cuba Gooding Jr. just got added to Little Rod's sexual assault suit against Diddy too. Dang, I know he's being listed in allegations, and he has a sexual assault allegation against him. So does Axl Rose in New York, and Jamie Foxx is another person who's also been accused in this civil suit deal that New York was doing, where the statute of limitations on sexual assaults went out the window for civil lawsuits. And P. Diddy, Jamie Foxx, Cuba Gooding Jr., and Axl Rose were some of the few high up there celebrities that were accused of some sort of sexual assault. Pretty crazy stuff. Let's read this from SCNR. Fox News captured footage of several individuals in handcuffs, one near the properties of whom TMZ identified as Combs' son, Justin, and King. The raids come just weeks after a lawsuit from his former producers was filed alleging a criminal racketeering enterprise that included murder, sex trafficking, illegal firearms, and drug trafficking. Rodney Little Rod Jones, who filed a 73-page lawsuit, had collected video and photo evidence of Combs' alleged crimes going back years. So he has the video and photo evidence. Wow, that's huge. That's huge. If there's video and photo evidence, if there's video and photo evidence of Combs' crimes going back years, I mean, he might just be Dunsky's, you know what I'm saying? It's not touch DNA on this if they have video evidence. Some of those images are included in the illegal filing. As stated in the lawsuit, the defendants named in the above paragraph knew that Combs used private jets, yachts, and commercial planes to entice, recruit, solicit, harbor, provide, obtain, and transport young women, young men, and underage girls for purposes of casual commercial sex acts. Jones also stated in the filing that Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his homes, while maintaining, recording, and compromising footage of every person that has attended his freak-off parties and his house parties, including celebrities, music label executives, politicians, and athletes. One of the music artists that I have heard in one situation was from Gene Deal, I believe, which was Sean Combs' bodyguard. And he had stated that there was a situation I believe it was in a hotel room where a music artist came out and said something about there's some freaky, shit going on in here. And I believe they were alluding to that artist being Ja Rule. So it's weird. Yeah, if you can give me some of that information, Heather, I'd appreciate that. Give me 1 second. Now, Rodney is claiming that Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his house. A lot of people say, why keep the evidence, destroy evidence, this and third. It's become more common when people do some stuff, they keep track of it. And if he has track of all the stuff that he's been doing for going back for years, we'll see what happens. Details of the hidden camera operation have led some now equating Combs' enterprise to that of disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein, who ran a global sex trafficking network to purportedly blackmail powerful individuals. Sounds very similar to me. Justin Bieber will save Diddy. There's a video out there that has been surfacing of Sean Combs and P. Diddy.
Justin, you ever seen the movie 48 Hours? Right now, he's having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream. I have been given custody of him. He signed to Usher. signed Usher? I had legal guardianship of Usher when he did his first album. I did Usher's first album. I don't have legal guardianship of him, but for the next 48 hours, he's with me. So and we gonna go full crazy. We're going crazy.
So this video here has been circulating for a while, ever since the allegations have come up. And like I said, I was listening to 50 Cent talk not too long ago, and he was talking about how when he first met P. Diddy, he wanted to take him shopping and was using the term partying and was making the term partying seems like it was something more, right? Then you had Cat Williams say that, Sean Combs wants to party, and if, he wants to party, you have to tell him no, kind of alluding to some of the things that are being accused or in the allegations against him. And so it's not good. It's not good for Sean Combs, in my opinion. I'm going to show this. This is from yesterday. TMZ footage shows P. Diddy walking around Miami airport. Why isn't he arrested yet? TMZ obtained a posted footage of the rapper P. Diddy just pacing around outside the Miami airport, and his first video of him since the Miami and LA homes were raided by federal agents. TMZ reported that eyewitnesses saw him and some others getting stopped and questioned by the feds. But in the video, he's not being arrested. They reported that Diddy and his crew were stopped at Opelika, where he was about to board a private jet before Homeland Security showed up. Officials seem to be investigating the crimes Diddy has been accused of committing, including sexual assault and sex trafficking, and is not yet under arrest.
I guess you wonder what's going to happen next, Diddy. And
he looks pretty dazed. I'm not gonna lie. He looks dazed. That's a I don't know what I'm gonna do walk. In my opinion. I mean, you can't really see his face very clearly, but he kind of looks from this angle. He's got some worry on him. I mean, all his houses got raided. Even if it's the sexual assault doesn't come into play, he's probably got a lot of other criminal activity that's been going on. I mean, there's been talk about the drug activity, and we know about the murder of Tupac Shakur that he's also been somewhat accused of having a part into. But I mean, this is some of the plays out of the Epstein playbook here. And this is from the New York Post saying Prince Harry named in bombshell $30 million sex trafficking lawsuit against Sean Diddy Combs. But I think this was just mentioning his name, and I believe they had met at one point. I'll read it. It says Prince Harry's name has appeared in court documents against Bad Boy Records founder Sean Diddy Combs. Producer Rodney Little Rod Jones filed a $30 million lawsuit against the music mogul 54 last month, citing that he participated in acts such as sexual misconduct, grooming, and sex trafficking, according to the Daily Mail. According to the docs, Jones claimed that the Duke of Sussex, 39, and other A-listers affiliation added to Diddy's legitimacy. So here's a picture. Sean Combs, Prince Harry, Kanye West. Kanye West had some interesting stuff to say at one point, too, about P. Diddy. The update comes amid the Diddy Dirty Money members' Miami and Los Angeles mansions being raided. Homes were ambushed by federal agents and Homeland Security on Monday in a possible connection with sex trafficking investigation. Law enforcement sources told the Post that the feds moved in because they wanted to seize Diddy's phones and computers. They also alleged there would be further raids on the houses associated with the mogul in New York and in Chicago. Just hours later, Diddy was spotted pacing back and forth outside a Miami airport. The court papers do not suggest that Harry was involved in any wrongdoing or criminal activity in conjunction with Diddy. E.Q. Royal is not a defendant, nor has he been incriminated. His moniker has only appeared once in documents. The Post has contacted Harry's camp for comment. Harry and his strange brother Prince William crossed paths with the notorious B.I.G. hype man and rapper Kanye West in 2007. The hip-hop stars performed at the concert for Diana at Wembley Stadium at the time. He has met him. There's some sort of connection there. They've taken a picture. He was, performing, or some of his music artists were performing, for the concert for Diana, or his mom. So maybe they do know each other a little bit. The concert event was put together by William, 41, and Harry to celebrate their late mother, Princess Diana's birthday. A melody of superstars also sang the bash, including Fergie, Elton John, Pharrell Williams, and Andrea Bocelli. In 2012, Diddy gushed over Harry and the royal family, telling The Sun, "I really can't wait to get to the UK, as London is one of my favorite cities." Interesting. I'm also hoping I'll get to catch up with Prince Harry while I'm there. He's such a cool guy, and it's about time we hung out, he added. I need him to take me to some of those wild Mayfair clubs. In January 2011 episode of Chat series, The Graham Norton Show, the last night, Croner got candid about his desire to have tea with the late Queen, who passed in September of 2022 at the age of 96. Additionally, he shed some light on hanging out with Prince of Wales, who is Invictus Games founder. I'm not sure what that has to do with anything. Norton 60 asked if the Princes ever attended one of Diddy's parties. Trust me, they're off the list. Rapper joke, but not anymore. Before, when they were young bucks growing up and they were getting into a lot of trouble, so I was like, hey, why don't you come hang out with me? All right. Kind of weird. Yeah, obviously, just because Harry met him doesn't mean he's involved. It says, trust me, they're off the list. The rapper joked, but not anymore. Before, when they were young bucks growing up, they were getting into a lot of trouble. So I was like, hey, why don't you come hang out with me? He sounds like a predator. I'm just being honest. I mean, that video with Justin Bieber, this kind of stuff, when they were young, saying these kind of things, this sounds like a predator. Mayfair is an area in London where many high-end private members only clubs are located. So here is one of Diddy's neighbors.
Yeah, tell him stop bringing all the minors over here late at night. I live right next to him. He do too much. He be like buses, like big ass buses. You just see all type of shit hop out. Especially at nighttime, like around 3 o'clock in the morning. It gets wild. I'm his neighbor. When my basketball go over there, I just let it be. I don't want to knock on the ball.
Wow. So he said that late at night, buses of underage girls come over. Things get wild over there. His ball, if he's playing basketball and it goes over the yard, he doesn't even want to knock on the door. He's the Epstein of rap. It sounds like it. It sure does sound like it. Now, here was the developing story that we're merging the private jet owned by P. Diddy Combs left the United States, possibly headed to a country with no U.S. extradition agreements. I don't know how true any of this is, if that's actually his plane that was going. Again, this plane was in the air at the same time P. Diddy's houses were being raided. So either somebody tipped him off, but it was directly going to that island. And there's footage of P. Diddy in Miami. So I don't know how true this is, but we have seen him at a Miami airport. Who was in the car? Somebody claiming to be his next door neighbor. It appears that it probably was. They were pulling out of a driveway where paparazzi were all around trying to get footage of the raid of Sean Diddy's mansion. So I would assume that it was, a neighbor. That's what he's claiming to be. So I got this real quick here as well. This is also from SCNR, and this is talking about Sean Diddy Combs, called the Epstein of rap industry after new sex trafficking lawsuit is filed. Now, this one goes into a little bit more details. Viewer discretion is advised. Some of the stuff that this article gets into is a little bit more descriptive. Ronnie Lil Rod Jones, a former producer and videographer for Combs, filed a 73-page lawsuit this week in the Southern District of New York. Also named as defendants in the case are Justin Combs, Ethiopia Haberderman, Lucien Grange, Christina Coram, Place Recording Studios, Love Records, Motown Records, Universal Music Group, Combs Global Enterprise, as well as multiple individuals and corporations whose identity remains sealed. Where have we heard that before? Identities remain sealed in drug trafficking investigations. According to the allegations made in the legal filing, Combs required Jones to record him constantly. As a result, there were hundreds of hours of footage and audio recordings of Combs, his staff, and his guests engaging in illegal activity. Photos and screenshots from the recordings are littered throughout the filing. Those activities include the use and distribution of ecstasy, cocaine, GHB, ketamine, marijuana, and mushrooms. As at parties, the lawsuit alleges Combs frequently had sex workers and underage girls present. Witnesses say that Combs had bottles of alcohol and drinks designated for women, separate from those set aside for himself and his entourage. That's a huge red flag. I mean, if you're ever in a situation, and ladies or men or whatever, and there's a separation of drinks like that, you probably need to get out of there as fast as you can. This continues to say, Combs would spike the girls' alcohol with date rape drugs, as well as place ecstasy and other date rape drugs in the juices. Used to mix the girls' drinks in the VIP section of various nightclubs. Combs allegedly spiked bottles of Moet champagne and typically had one on set of champagne bottles for his artists, a different set for the women. Combs is described as having a pattern of soliciting sex workers and underage girls. Some of the photos contained in the legal filing purportedly show Combs dancing with an underage girl at one of his parties. A lawsuit alleges that several of the defendants, Lucian Charles Grange, Ethiopia, Motown Records, Love Records, and Universal Music Group, had knowledge that the underage minors were being coercively sex trafficked by Combs. Whoa. And these are also music groups, record places as well. Again, man, this is definitely sounding a lot like what some of the allegations against Epstein were. Adding to that, Combs and his associates knew the names and victims of that. He required the sex workers and underage girls to sign a non-disclosure agreement prior to entering his parties and prior to being drugged and sex trafficked at these parties. As stated in the lawsuit, the defendant's name in the above paragraph knew that Combs used private jets, yachts, and commercial planes to entice, recruit, solicit, harbor, provide, obtain, and transport young women, young men, and underage girls for purposes of causing commercial sex acts. Jones also states in the filing that Combs has hidden cameras in every room of his home, while maintaining recordings and compromising footage of every person that attends his freak-off parties and in his house parties, including celebrities, music label executives, politicians. I wonder if that's where the sealed names come from, and athletes. The details of the hidden camera operation have led some to now equate Combs' enterprise to that of the disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. It's looking like the Epstein of rap industry, independent journalist Ian Carroll said in a recent post. According to the court filing, Combs believes he is above the law and is untouchable, telling others that he has immense power with law enforcement and that his head of security has the power to make people and problems disappear. There's always been those rumors and speculations of, putting $1 million on somebody's head, and that being Tupac and Suge Knight. And here he's claiming to have some powerful people in law enforcement. Is his head of security in law enforcement? I know that Death Row had security that were cops. Is this how he got word that some of his stuff was going to get raided? Because I would assume that the law enforcement officers that he probably would be familiar with would be those where he resides. I mean, I would assume that he'd probably get familiar with those guys. Interesting statement. In one example, Jones says Combs instructed his staff to always contact his head of security if they are ever pulled over by police in Miami or California due to his connections with law enforcement. Sean Hawley, Sean Combs' attorney, denied the allegations in a statement to CNN, calling Jones a liar. His reckless name dropping about the events pure fiction and simply did not happen, nothing more than transparent attempt to garner headlines. We have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies. Hawley said in a statement. Our attempts to share this proof with Mr. Jones's attorney, Tyrone Blackburn, have been ignored. As Blackburn refuses to return our calls, we will address those outlandish allegations in court and take all appropriate actions against those who take them. This one is the one that has a lot more information. So this one says, rapper Sean Diddy Combs accused of rape and sexual assault in 2 new separate lawsuits. Rapper Sean Diddy Combs has been accused of rape and sexual assault in 2 new separate lawsuits after recently settling a sexual assault suit against him by singer and former partner Cassandra Cassie Ventura. Allegations that a representative for Combs denied. Key facts. Joy Dickerson Neal filed a suit against Combs Thursday, one day before the New York Adult Survivors Act expired, in the New York Supreme Court alleging he drugged her, sexually assaulted her, and secretly filmed the assault while she was a college student in 1991. In the filing, Dickerson Neal said that she went to dinner reluctantly with Combs on January 3rd, 1991, and Combs pushed her to accompany him as he attended a few things in the city, which when she alleges she was drugged, resulting in her being in a physical state where she could not independently stand or walk. The lawsuit says that Combs drove Dickerson Neal to a place where he was staying, sexually assaulted her there, and recorded the assault, and then showed to other people. Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, and Combs Enterprise, which has since been rebranded as Combs Global, are listed as defendants in Dickerson Neal's lawsuit. Combs was accused of sexually assaulting of the sexual thought in a third lawsuit by an anonymous plaintiff who alleged Combs and the singer-songwriter Aaron Hall took turns raping the accuser and her friend in 1990 or 91 after they met at an event hosted by MCA Records in New York, where the singers were very flirtatious and handsy and offered the plaintiff and her friends a few drinks, according to the Rolling Stones. I mean, red flags everywhere, right? I mean, especially if he recorded these things. Yeah, I think he probably did it to himself. Without video and stuff like that, I mean, a lot of this could be he said, she said type of stuff. Yeah, he's kind of alluding that they're going for a money grab type of thing. But if he has video of it, you're Dunskies, my man. After speaking with her friend, the plaintiff allegedly found out she had also been forced to have sex with Combs and Hall in another room. The complaint says a few days later, Combs allegedly visited the home where the plaintiff and her friend were staying, where he became irate and began assaulting and choking Jane Doe to the point where she passed out. The lawsuit alleges adding Combs also looked for a friend because he was worried that she would tell the girl he was with at the time that he and Hall had done to them. Wow. So he also strangled, the next person. Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Angie comes in with a $50 super chat. Thanks for the coverage. Keep up the awesome work. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate the donation. It's more than grateful. Thank you. We also have a couple of new member. We have Lupo Nino is a new member, and Apple Bottom Jeans coming in with a membership for 1 month. Again, thank you, Angie. We appreciate that. So this says here, Combs, Hall, MCA Music Entertainment, and Geffen Records are listed as defendants in the third lawsuit by Jane Doe. Now, apparently Jane Doe has to come forward with her identity pretty soon before this to go forward for the lawsuit. I think that's where they're at that point in that lawsuit. In a statement shared with Forbes, a spokesperson from Combs said that the lawsuit against the rapper fabricated claims falsely alleging misconduct from over 30 years ago and filed at the last minute. The spokesperson called the lawsuits nothing but a money grab. And due to Combs' fame and success, he is an easy target for anonymous accusers who lie without conscience or consequence for financial benefit. And this is where it talks about the other individuals who are also alleged abusers. It says here, the expiration of the New York Adult Survivors Act today prompted a number of sexual misconduct allegations in recent days against high-profile stars and politicians, including Guns N' Roses frontman Axl Rose, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jamie Foxx, and New York City Mayor Eric Adams. Rose, Fox, and Adams have denied claims against them, while Gooding Jr. has not responded, allowing sexual assault survivors to sue their alleged abusers regardless of when the statute of limitations expired. The two new lawsuits follow a lawsuit against Combs by singer and former partner Cassandra Cassie Ventura, who accused him of raping her in 2018, beating her, and making her carry a firearm to make her uncomfortable and demonstrate how dangerous he is, and forcing Ventura into unwanted sex encounters with male sex workers. Ventura's lawsuit against Combs was settled a day after she filed it for an undisclosed amount of money. Ventura said after the settlement, she decided to resolve the matters amicably and on terms that I have some level of control, according to Dickerson Neal's filing. Ventura's lawsuit against Combs forced her to face his assault again. NBC News reported filing as saying Dickerson Neal's lawsuit says she suffered with her mental health, career, and humiliation as a result of the assault being recorded, and that she did not go to the hospital or report the assault to police due to confusion and pain, the filing said. According to NBC, Dickerson News filing says she eventually filed the police reports in New York and New Jersey and spoke to prosecutors to seek charges against Combs, then tried to locate the alleged video of her assault, but was told by colleagues they were terrified that Combs would retaliate against them and that they would lose future business and music opportunities if they made a statement in support of her, NBC News reported, citing the lawsuit. Oh, man. That's when you have like people of power that, like, there's this new video show that I'm watching about Nickelodeon and how Dan Snyder basically controlled some of his artists, his actors and actresses with roles and opportunities. And this is on this is from The Guardian. Says Sean Diddy Combs accused of sexual assault by a male music producer. So this is going to get into the details of the male producer and what he had to endure. Sean Combs, a rapper mogul known as Diddy, was sued Monday by a music producer who accused the hip-hop mogul of sexually assaulting him and forcing him to have sex with prostitutes. The suit, filed in federal court in New York, accuses Combs of repeated instances of unsolicited groping and sexual touching. He also says the man had to work in a bathroom while Combs showered and walked around naked. He says that there was a lot of video recording and sound recording and audio recording of all of these instances. This should not be hard to prove. This should not be hard to find out if this is true. And if this guy who's reporting it, Rod, right, the producer, Lil Rod, if he's reporting this and he's saying that he has video and audio, this should be something very easy to prove. A lawyer for Combs called the events described in the lawsuit pure fiction. We have overwhelming, indisputable proof that his claims are complete lies, said Combs' attorney, Sean Hawley. We will address these outlandish allegations in court and take all appropriate actions against those who make them, he added. I mean, if there's pictures and there's videos and there's screenshots and audio of all this stuff going on, I think he's going to have a case. I mean, just the mere fact that if Combs wanted him to work in the bathroom while he showered, that's not a good working condition. Like, where is that a good working condition? Where in any job is that okay that you are working while your boss showers and then forcing you to be there? You know what I mean? Just that mere fact alone, if he has video of something like that, yeah, Sean is done. Oh yeah, there's some stuff coming out about the Drake and Amanda show. Yeah, that's stuff that I've been looking up here recently on, I think it's on HBO Max. A lawyer, Tyrone Blackburn, who filed the lawsuit on behalf of the producer, did not immediately return an email seeking comment. In the lawsuit, the producer claims Combs made him solicit prostitutes and pressured him into having sex with them. He also described a time when the producer woke up in bed with two sex workers, suspecting he had been drugged. The legal claim is one of the several sexual assault lawsuits filed against Combs in recent months, including a lawsuit from the R&B singer Cassie that was settled last year. Another Combs' accuser was a woman who alleged the rap producer raped her 2 decades ago when she was 17. She also accused Harvey Pierre, president of Combs' label Bad Boys Record. Oh, that's the first time I heard that name. And an unidentified man. Well, they identified the man in the other one. It was Anthony or something Hall, right? The singer-songwriter. Combs has denied the allegations in December, saying, "Let me be absolutely clear. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my pride, my family, and for the truth." Oh, really? J-Lo mentioned some of what went on in her new documentary. I'm interested in seeing that now. I'm interested in seeing what occurred, because there was a lot of stuff that went on. I mean, that one shooting with Sean Combs and P. Diddy and Shine, the rapper that ended up going to jail for possession of the firearm. There was some speculation that was Sean Combs who had it and just kind of handed it off to Shine. you know, and that supposedly he's I think he testified or he narked to that or something to that nature. And you know, it's been alleged that that's not how it went down. Look at this video real quick. Just want to make sure it is what it is.
I want you to tell them the story about how I adopted you. But you still have beautiful parents but you're my child also. Please tell the story.
So, I was on the streets, and then Papa Combs decided that he would like to be a caring man. So then he saw me and decided to pick me up and said to come inside and play with his kids.
Yeah.
That's pretty weird. That's really weird. I don't know who this child is. From what I just heard and can make out, it sounded like she said that Combs picked her up off the street, brought her in to play with his kids, which I don't know how many kids he has. I know the ones that were getting arrested looked like they were older, and she calls him Papa Combs.
That's like a little bit like borderline suspect. I don't want nobody, we want to get it clear. I adopted you like Madonna adopted kids and everybody else adopted kids, Charlize Theron, everybody that's ever adopted Sandra Bullock. I adopted you because I felt that you could, enjoy also having a black parent to take care of you and help you out. So, just clarify it because it's crazy out here online. So I played with the kids and I got permission from your mother.
He got permission from her mother. I thought he found her on the street. Maybe he found her and the mother on the street. Are you just picking up the kid and saying, leaving her mother on the street? Yeah, that's weird. That's more than weird.
Say all of that. It's crazy out here.
Well, I met Jesse and Delilah when I was 6 months old.
6 months.
And then we basically are sisters, all 4 of us. So. And then I always come over.
Yeah.
And
it's Ava Brioni Combs. Come on. Let's go.
Hey, Joe.
That is weird. I don't like it. I mean, he's under investigation now. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of allegations that come forward now that he's under investigation. And, if he had that power, if he, held that over people that, hey, I know this police person or this, powerful politician or whatever, I'm untouchable. Well, he just got touched. His mansions got raided. He was stopped by the feds. Unsure what happened out there in Miami. But it all, from what I understand, is he got stopped out there. So maybe now that his wall of protection is starting to fall and crumble, maybe more people will come forward with some more allegations about this guy and more information will come forward about what he's done. Yeah, it's a crazy situation. Like I said, these rumors have been out for a while. Going back to Mace when he left Bad Boy Records. Shine, he went to prison for the gun charges I was referencing earlier with J-Lo and P. Diddy. He's come forward and said some things about Puff Daddy, Kanye West, Cat Williams. I mean, the list goes on about this kind. This who Puff Daddy or Diddy is. It don't seem like he's a stand-up guy in my opinion. Area says Tupac will be part of this FBI scene on this for decades. What's his name? Keefe D. He gave up he had a proffer agreement, which is that Queen for a Day, right? And he kind of disclosed that he, Orlando Anderson, and 2 other guys were the guys that took the life of or murdered Tupac Shakur in September 1996. And he has some details about the crime. Driving the white car, Cadillac, some of the events that happened surrounding the shooting, with who was following them, did they shoot back, yada yada, right? So he had some pretty detailed information, and it's not like police weren't suspecting these guys. They just didn't have the evidence, supposedly. I think that they were probably a little bit worried about a gang war going on as well. I think that may have had a huge component as to why it took so long for an arrest to be made. And then you also had a lot of the folks that were, suspect number 1 and 2, like Orlando Anderson. He passed away like a year or 2 later in a gunfire as well. I think one of the other persons in the car passed away from cancer, and another one passed away from some other medical stuff as well. So the 4 people in the car, Keefe D is the only person that was alive. Now, what ended up happening is they basically busted Keefe on a slew of charges and drug charges, and they were going to put him, I think some of his family members and a couple of other gang members associated with him, behind bars if he did not comply or come forward with what he knew about the Biggie case and about the Tupac case. According to him, he really doesn't know anything about the Biggie case. Well, I think he knows something. In the proffer agreement, there's audio of the recording, and when they talk about the Biggie case, he's like, that wasn't us. Like, he kind of knew who it was, though. So I'll leave that alone for now. he goes out there and he talks exclusively about what occurred. And in that proffer agreement, he mentions Sean Combs being responsible for having a hit out on Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur. He alleges it was $1 million. Now, back in the day, there was an incident where Tupac and Suge Knight and his entourage beat up one of Sean Combs' relatives that were out there in California. And from what I understand is they were trying to get information about where P. Diddy stays at when he visits California. And I think information got back to Sean Combs. And from what I understand, that's when some of the panic started to occur. And when he said, I'll give $1 million to take these guys out. Fast forward, Tupac Shakur ends up hitting Orlando Anderson at the Mike Tyson fight and the MGM Grand afterwards. That started the dominoes that would event in the life of Tupac Shakur being lost, and in my opinion also Biggie Smalls just a few months later. But there's always been rumors there that Sean Combs had something to do with it. Keefe D said about the $1 million, and the one thing about that is it's a proffer agreement. So if anything comes out of that he lied about, right? If he lied about anything, including Sean Combs offering $1 million, then that proffer agreement blows up. It's no longer good. And it's not immunity. It's clean for a day, which means that they can't use what you're saying against you unless you lie, right? If you get caught lying, like if Sean Combs never did offer $1 million and he's saying he did, well, then the police now can use his statement of what he said with Orlando Anderson and the other two individuals that were in the car with him. All that can be used against him. And not only that, the other charges that were dropped, the drug charges that would have put him and some of his family members and gang members behind bars for a long time, those come back. So it's a big risk to just kind of throw out a lie like that. I would understand a lie like, if he was the shooter and he said that one of the other persons was the shooter because they're no longer living. I get a lie like that, or just to self-preserve himself, but in this situation, why lie about something like this, where if you get caught lying on Sean Diddy putting up $1 million there, you can lose a lot of stuff there. So for me, I think it might hold a little bit of water, and there was a song on P. Diddy's album. I think it wasn't him. He was the producer for an album. I can't remember the name. But in the background, he says, I put $1 million on your head. Go listen to Long Kiss Goodnight. That was a Notorious B.I.G. song that came out after Tupac's death. It almost seems like they're bragging about it to a certain extent. That's probably has something to do with some of the rumors that were out there. We'll see what happens now. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he ends up being charged in Tupac's murder alongside Keefe D, because Keefe D he spoke. He talked about that situation, talked about Zip. He talked about where the money went. He talked about, how the money was supposed to go from Sean Combs to him, but that I believe it was Zip, one of the middlemen there, one of the persons that also supplied the gun out there in Las Vegas. Apparently, he kept the money. And I find that odd. I mean, if somebody owes $1 million and you're a gangbanger and you have no problem taking the life of somebody, and somebody owes you $1 million and they stole it from you, just gonna say, all right, no, that's cool. I mean, you weren't willing to slide the rapper punching your nephew in the face, but you're willing to slide the $1 million. So that one I find to be maybe not, but we'll see. Maybe he did get the money and he doesn't want to agree to that because if he agrees, maybe they can charge him with something else. I don't know. It's just food for thought in that situation. I'm going to go ahead and jump on off. It was a good show today. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Please hit that like and subscribe button, ring that notification bell, share this content out there, and stay safe, stay tuned. I'll be on tomorrow night. We got some more information going back on the case with Caleb Harris, so you don't want to miss it. Without further ado, we're out. Peace.